Welcome to Chatting the Pictures. My name is Cara Finnegan, and I'm a writer, teacher, and historian of photography.
And I'm Michael Shaw. I'm a writer, a psychologist, and also publisher of Reading the Pictures.
The attack on the U.S. Capitol on January 6th, 2021, targeting the vote to approve the results of the presidential election, was one of the most significant challenges to democracy in American history. This photo is part of a series of portraits of legislators, staffers, and frontline eyewitnesses.
The picture was taken by Frank Thorp V, a producer and reporter covering Congress for NBC News. In the photo, we see Dion Montague, informally known as the coffee guy, at the Capitol cafeteria. The picture is part of a series of portraits, profiles, and testimonials for an NBC News feature titled After the Riot, marking 100 days since the Capitol attack.
I've been following Thorp's work for a while now, and what's really interesting about it is that he has been using film photography and what we might call old school cameras, like the speed graphic, to photograph the goings-on at his workplace, which happens to be the U.S. Capitol. Film photography is now sometimes called alt photography, when many of us remember when it used to be just called photography. And this practice has had a resurgence in recent years. Thorp's portraits offer really good visual reasons why.
The significance for me of this project was seeing Montague himself. There are a number of different Capitol Hill professionals that are featured: legislators, staffers, reporters, also Capitol police officers. But Montague was notable for being really like someone, to me, who's like a bridge between the citizen and the professionals on the Hill. And it feels to me like his gaze actually captures some of that fear that we don't see in some of the other portraits.
Yeah, a good portrait really elevates its subject and invites us to see people more fully. In Thorp's photos, Dion Montague is elevated. And that's interesting because by being elevated, he's also being placed at the same level as members of Congress, the speaker, the majority leader, other people who Thorp photographed for this series. So by making a portrait which honors and recognizes the roles of everybody who works at the Capitol and was there and survived this traumatic attack, Thorp is also giving us a sense of that kind of role of the citizen, as you said, that he is someone who has his own valuable story and his own set of experiences to share, even though he's not, the member of Congress we see on cable news every night.
I don't know if you saw that kind of uncertainty or wariness in the gaze, the way he's looking off to the side. There's pictures, for example, the shot of Congressman Jason Crow, who looks very determined, almost angry about what happened. But Dion's gaze seems really to capture that, that vulnerability of the moment.
Yeah, good portraits also memorialize their subjects in some ways. They tell us a little bit about who that person is. And I think you're right. His displaced gaze is a little bit different from some of the other folks that are featured in this series. Thorp includes the written text of people describing their experiences. And in those remarks about his experience, Montague describes himself as a vigilant person. And he says that he's someone who keeps an eye out. And so Thorp, I think, in these portraits really captures that idea of someone who is bodily contained, who is vigilant, who is maybe a little wary, and who's just keeping an eye on things all the time.